Just rubs her hands clean, looking down at her palms. Truth is, I need a hand here. My partner skipped out on me and left me with a whole mess. You seem like you might at least be better at spotting a clean air filter than Moritz. I'd be happy to. Wait. She frowns at the racks. That's not all of it. My old business partner, they rinsed the place, emptied the accounts to bid for jobs. We need to put down deposits, bring in parts, pay tug fees for that. We need. Oh, okay. You want me to pay to work? Come on, it's not like that. We'd be partners, straight split. Bliss sells herself against the unit and looks off in the distance. I guess I look pretty stupid. Here I am asking any random passerby to be my business partner. No offense. I get it. Thanks. She meets your eye. I appreciate it. Bliss goes back to working on the unit. Look, it's no pressure. You find the money or you find someone who has, or you just forget the whole thing. Up to you. She gestures for you to help her refit the casing, and you both slot it back into place. I think I'm good to wrap this one up for now, but if you're into it, come back and we can bid on a new contract, something to get our teeth into, something that pays. She gives you a serious look. You can trust me, I don't say this stuff lightly. You kick away from the bay, propelling yourself back into the handholds of the entrance. You slip out with a wave, and as you do, someone slips back in. You hear Bliss as you glide down the passageway. Moritz, I swear to God, if those filters aren't clean. You smile. Seems like this could be interesting. New drive discovered. Bliss's Bay. 80 bucks. Damn, bro. I ain't got that kind of scratch on me. Okay, then, still have to wait 2 more cycles. Fucking hell. Okay, I guess I work. How much are they paying? I gotta work this next cycle. Get the scratch. End cycle. Oh, I could have ended cycle up there, couldn't I? Okay. That looks good enough. Yes, I know. Oh wait, I could look for a rabbi, no? This gives monies? Energy, scrap components. Um... Hmm. I mean, some scrap is nice. But I need cash. Uh... There was something paying like 20. Where was that? Farm stacks? Pays 16. The commune? No, they don't pay shit. The waste. Actually, no, with scrap, I can sell scrap if needed for cash. Yeah, I'll just go back and keep working there to get that up. Yeah, Rabias, because I'll get it up and I'll get scrap and I can sell it. Okay, so 6, that's positive. Yeah, there's scrap, filter, bam, that's scrap again. Okay, and I need 80. And I can sell scrap down here at the ore exchange. How much do I still get one scrap for? Good enough. And last scrap. Bam, 91. And with that, I can go upwards. Ascend the hub. And pay 80 to work here. Scammer and opportunity. Okay. Buy into the hub's competitive market. Okay, so that was to bid on jobs. So now I gotta wait 3 days before I get a job. Which, the center rim, I need to wait one more day for Empus. Yes. Then, like, how much longer for my mushrooms? It's 3 more days. Okay. So, damn. Okay, so I guess I'll just work for scrap in the meantime. Yeah, I got Empus, and then everything just goes towards scrap, working with Rubio. Okay, second Empus out. Empus is preparing the Matsutake caps. He cleans them carefully with a damp cloth before shaving the stalks as if he was sharpening a pencil. His knife slides through them, revealing the bright white of the flesh within. He's a good sleeper, very good, he says without looking up. I borrowed with Mingi for some kelp too, so we can brew the dashi. You mean Mingi? Empress looks up from Kun with a smile. Everyone knows Mingi. Empress slides the sliced matsutake mushrooms to one side, takes out a closed pan. He opens the lid and you see the green wafer of kelp sitting in a bath of water. It's soaking it since last cycle. Empress explains, should be good to warm now. He places the pan over the burner and turns it on low. We have some time now. He wipes his hands clean and throws the cloth over his shoulder. He wants another story. However, there is one difference this cycle. He smiles. You've been the one providing the ingredients, so it's my turn to provide a story. Okay, I'll listen to Empress's story. Good, the story's important to me. He gestures for you to both sit on the folding stools behind the stall. You see these? Empress runs a hand over his forearm, tracing the circular scars that mark them like perfect bite marks. Conway called it an anchored interface rig, a mechanical control device for piloting a heavy-duty extraction suit in low-G industrial operations. We call it a bone suit. He points to a pattern of larger circles on his shoulder. They drill in and anchor it here, then all the way down the arm. He taps each scar on the way. It maps mechanical movements to the suit exactly. A one-on-one mechanical replication. You swing your arm or 2-ton arm swings too. You should have seen the recruitment vids, strong people in even stronger suits, tearing through stone and scrap, superheroes. Half my graduating year signed up, from company school to company shuttle. Conway from birth to death. He stares off into the distance for a moment, fighting with the memories. But the bone suits weren't good. The rate of failures was high. The failures meant arms torn off, anchors torn out, broken bones, bad stuff. So after a while, Conway discontinued them. No longer competitive, they said. He checks the broth, turning down the heat and adding the mushrooms. So there we were, hundreds of us with surgical alterations for suits that didn't work. They sent us home, back to that company colony that spat us out, to be cleaners, drivers, cooks. They gave us drugs for the pain and told us to make something of ourselves. When I deserted, bribing some passing spacers to take me into orbit, there were only me and a couple of others left. The rest just faded away, arthritis, osteoporosis. They folded in on themselves like paper lanterns. That was my generation. The anchor points will still ache, still burn. He touches the scars. But what burns worse is the betrayal. I've been on the eye a long time, but that will never fade. Not that, and not the faces of my friends. Empress reaches over and sprinkles a handful of leaves into the broth. It is ready. Thank you. Thank you for listening to me. I will not let their story die, and as long as I am telling it, it will remain. Empress pours the broth onto a double-walled metal bowl and hands it to you. The heat radiates through your hands, and the smell drifts up, rich and sharp like a pine forest after the rain. You drink the broth slowly, chewing the matsutake and thinking. Empress busies himself with cleaning the pans in the bowl, sealing the kelp back up for another day. Then he quietly comes to sit with you while you finish your meal. Neither of you speak, preferring instead to let the story linger in the air a little longer. It is not that there is nothing to say, it is that sometimes in the moments after something, speaking breaks the spell. So you both idle, eager to be in each other's company. Emphas takes longer over his cleaning, his packing, and you savoring the final dregs of broth. When you finally finish and hand him the bowl, you feel the spell break, and the story leaves you both. And as you leave, you know that both of you are somehow a little more empty, and a little more full than before. Cool. And I guess that's the end with Emphas. Because now it's just buy food. Cool. So there's Rabia's story, or like the doctor going down that path. The mushrooms for Rico, and then up there. Okay, so I still have a couple more days for either of those. So these days I'm just gonna be pumping it into here, I guess. Getting random scrap, whatever I can. Okay. Bam and bam. Reroll. Oh, perfect. So that's like 4 pieces of scrap, right? Yes, sir. Okay. Oh, as you say goodbye to the other enforcers and walk through the low end, a chirruping catches your attention. Did I finish it? I wasn't paying attention. I didn't think that was enough to finish the circle. In the quiet corridor, away from the main thoroughfares, someone has stuck a small recorder to the wall of sealant tape. Written across the fluorescent tape is one word, sleeper. You peel it away from the wall, and as you do, it triggers some kind of improvised trip switch. Sleeper, Sabine's voice crackles through. I have seen you with Yaligan members. Are they holding you captive now too? A high whine. I'm sorry if I have dragged you into this. Do not trust them. Something is happening within the gang, some kind of power struggle. You cover the speaker a little, their voice too loud in the quiet corridor. I'll come soon. Thanks to your efforts, I have located most of their properties. At the right time, a pause. I'll see you soon. Don't give up. Remember our deal. The recording cuts out. You stare at the recorder, processing what you have just heard. Hearing Sabine's voice again opens up something inside of you, an SNRP employee. Do they know that I know? You struggle with a mix of concern and distrust. You throw the recorder into a nearby waste chute as you leave the corridor, still unsure who to trust, and head quietly out of the low end. Yeah, I didn't finish. I thought so, okay. I'll save the scrap. If I need it, I'll use it myself. If not, I'll sell it for cash. Okay, end cycle. I got enough dice as it is. A few more cycles ain't gonna hurt. Okay. I believe it's still gotta wait like another, yeah, okay, so next cycle. Next cycle, that's done, and then I believe it's the same with the mushrooms. It is. What does she want? Oh yeah, the special ones. I need one more of the special ones. Okay, so yeah, that's all just this next cycle. But before that, I guess Rabia's office. Here we go. More scrap. And bam. And bam. Last, no, reroll. Damn, last one. It's a 1 in 4, I don't get it. I got it. Let's go. Yaligan Insider. Okay, Rabia. This time you meet inside Rabia's office, although now that you've seen it, office seems like the wrong term. You find her stood in an almost bare, shadowy unit. Midway through a sequence of stretches, there are 2 low stools and a terminal in the corner, but it seems that most of the space is taken up by a heavy punching bag, rubber matting, and a stack of weights. When Rabia turns to greet you, you realize she is missing an arm. The prosthetic she usually wears is set in a cradle near the terminal. A web of colored wires running into it. Updates, she says, noticing you looking where her artificial arm usually is. Nothing to worry yourself with, of course. Sit, says Rabia, gesturing to the two diminutive stools. Both settle on the stools, Rabia crossing her legs on top and sitting straight backed. Gia told me you have been doing the rounds, collecting types, patrolling the ward. She smiles. Some of the enforcers are impressed, and I hear you handled a few difficult circumstances. Nicely done. I wanted to help, and you did. She closes her eyes for a moment. I hope you can see how things work here now. A strong Yaligan means a strong low end. Both are woven into each other. I know that for you, life on the Eye has been a struggle, but I hope we could do something about that from here onwards. Though some of our members may not see it this way, I know you too are a refugee. She looks at you solemnly. That is why you have come to us. Enough, Rabia. Sabine's voice cuts through the conversation. I'm tired of listening to your affected nobility. They cross the room, Rabia's baton in their hand, the end lit with sparkling electricity. Rabia looks between the two of you. I suppose this ambush was another cooperation between you two. She looks strangely unfazed. No, they are acting alone. Sabine pauses, thrown off for a moment by your renunciation. Rabia takes an opportunity to act. She leaps from the stool and, fainting past Sabine, grabs the baton and twists it inwards. She is by far the stronger, and she pushes Sabine to their knees, plunging the crackling end of the baton towards their chest. They freeze there, Sabine struggling to keep the crackling baton from their skin. Stop. Then you support them. Rabia asks you, her eyes not leaving Sabine. Your loyalties are so easily swayed. I thought you were more than Yannick's attack dog, Rabia. Sabine spits back. Are you not able to think for yourself? Rabia holds the baton strong, and for a moment you think she is about to hammer it down into Sabine's chest. After a painful wait, she throws Sabine down instead, then spins the baton in her hand, thumbing the switch on the off for a single move. Rabia, explain. They both look at you, each still catching their breath as if they had forgotten about your presence. Explain what? How the moment I call my forces will come back down here and take them away? Rabia cracks her neck. You are lucky I didn't kill you. I would have had every right. She shouts, the anger a release of tension more than a threat. Sabine lifts themselves a little, bruised from the fall. They roll onto their side and cough. Rabia gives them some space, sitting back on the stool. Sabine props himself up on their elbows, fixes Rabia with a hard stare. You have something to say, Rabia taunts? Say it. This is your final opportunity, because after this, she laughs, no coming back. What's the point? Sabine breathes heavily. She refuses to listen to criticism of the great Yaligan project. Rabia collects herself. Speak. She folds her arms and waits to be convinced. Sabine takes a breath, organizing their thoughts. They go to start, pause, then decide on another approach. Eventually, they say it. Yannick is a traitor. Rabia immediately flinches, her eyes going to her prosthetic arm, her muscles clenching, but she rides it out, more eager to prove Sabine wrong than she is to hurt them. At least for now. When I came here from SNARP, they glanced at you, gauging a reaction. It was Yannick who was one of the first to support me. To look after me, I should have known then, but I was naive and afraid. Sabine turns to you. Sleeper, they take a breath. I know that I should have told you I worked for SNARP long ago, but I thought you would abandon me. You are my final friend. What you should know is that I left SNARP because I was running for my life. I leaked documents on the Sleeper program on the illegal and immoral practices it relied on to the press. SNARP wanted me dead, and I fled as far as I could, so this refuge at the edge of the surrogate systems. Sabine stops to collect himself. What does this have to do with Yannick? Rabia interrupts. The Sleeper knows you are SNARP, I told them, and while you hide beneath the cover of being a whistleblower, you and I both know you worked on the Sleeper program. Yannick told me as much. Sabine's face falls. It is true. They glance at you and then away, ashamed. Of course they worked on a damn Sleeper project. How else would they fucking be able to leak information about it? It's just fucking common sense at that point. They lift their head, but it is Yannick, not me, who's in the pocket of SNARP. Rabia flinches again. I can prove it. He made some kind of deal to keep me here, to tie me up in debt, to lock me away. In exchange? Rabia slams her hand on the desk. Just tell us, for God's sake. In exchange for those, Sabine finishes, nodding towards Rabia's prosthetic arm in its cradle. He has been using Yaligan enforcers, using you as test subject for SNARP technology. I have the data to prove it. He has been bringing them in under the guise of stolen shipments and have seen me fit them. knowing each one is capturing data and sending it back to its makers. Rabia's fixed expression has started to fade. Sabine produces a slate. It's all here. Thousands of hours of usage data, failure rates, error dumps. These are untested implants, Rabia. They could short out, fail, cause cascading failures across a person's body. And they have. Sabine suddenly looks incredibly tired. I thought the error rate in the units was down to them being stolen or modified. I have tried to fix hundreds of failures in my time here, not all of them. They stop, unable to continue. Rabia closes her eyes and breathes in, and she opens them again. She holds out a hand to Sabine. Show me, she says. Later, much later, when you leave, Sabine is still taking Rabia through the manifest and usage data, both of them crowded around the terminal as Sabine leads Rabia through each layer of Yannick's betrayal. As you leave, Sabine catches your eye. Something passes between you, something like a thank you or a sorry, or some other expression that communicates both sadness and hope. Oh my goodness. I gotta wait 3 days. Enemy of my enemy. Okay, so I can get agent data gives double. 2 dice even when breaking. Like going to +2 in engineering, like nothing really seems too worth it at this point. Like that, no. Like this is probably the most useful, honestly, if I ever need to get agent data for cash. Because I'm never gonna be like that broken down to where I'm gonna have like 2 or 1 dice. So yeah, now I just wait a cycle and then it's mushrooms and then up there to work. Yep. Okay. So repaired unit and cycle. Okay, leave. Oh, Moritz. Oh, this is Bliss's assistant. Hey, a quiet voice greets you as you leave. Sleeper, it's me. Do I know you? Moritz, he pauses. I work for Bliss. He rubs the back of his head. You are not an easy person to find. I don't really have an address. Moritz holds up his hands. Hey, no judgment. It's cool. You both stand there for a moment, each waiting for the other to speak. What's up? Yeah, well, Bliss needs you. A job just came in, a real big one. She's asking for you to come up and help her out. He nods eagerly, sagely. I'll be right there. Nice, yeah. Moritz stands there for a little while, unsure if the message is delivered. I've got it. Cool. He looks around. Bliss just likes me to do a thorough job, you know. Grabs his hands together before burying them in his jacket pockets. See you, Sleeper. Moritz ambles off down the corridor, kicking a filter cap on his way out. Time to head to Bliss's Bay then. Time to go for my mushrooms. Okay, first things first. Bam. 100% positive. Doof. Perfect. That's all I needed. Now I come here, give the last sample with the club heads. Bam. Rico is at her bench, running small vials of some liquid through an old chemical analysis machine. The whirring of the spinning drum fills the lab with white noise, and you aren't sure if she notices you approach. Sleeper, it's good to see you. She looks up, smiling. This little project of ours has been keeping me awake the past few cycles, but right now, well, I think I have something. What is it? The drum finishes spinning, and Rico lifts a vial from it, holding it up to the light. This is something I extracted from those club heads you've been bringing me. According to my analysis, it is a substance totally unique to the Greenway. You look at the small amount of liquid in the vial. Any idea what it might be? Rico asks. Stabilizer? Rico nods. You aren't the first sleeper to come through here. Perhaps I should have mentioned that earlier. Rico's tone suddenly drops, changing the atmosphere in the lab immediately. I just thought, she pauses, thinking very carefully of how to continue. I just wanted you to trust us. Like, it's in the special, like, it's in the mushrooms I grow, so it's catered towards me, the sleeper. So I assumed if there's something special in it, it was going to be stabilizer. Okay. Stay silent. They came through a few cycles ago. We found them wandering in the broken section near the gap. The members who brought them in had never seen one of you before. They were terrified of this strange person wandering in from open vacuum. They were quieter than you and damaged. We did our best to patch them up and welcome them to the commune. I only really spoke to them once while I was working on their wounds along with a couple of systems engineers. She looks nervous lately. I'd never seen a body like that before. I took some readings, some samples. You have to understand, I was curious. I didn't know what I was looking at. I just took a little bit of the damaged material, less than a thumbnail. She shifts her weight to her crutch. The next cycle they were gone. They took a little food and hiked up towards the wild margins, where the greenway meets the waste. Someone saw them in the distance, but that was it. They disappeared into the overgrowth. She sits down heavily, the vial in her hand. When I saw you, I wanted things to be different. I wanted to keep you here, rather than let you disappear into wherever they ended up. She smiles to herself. Yes, I wanted to understand this place better, but I also wanted to help you. Seems that somehow both my wishes have come true at once. She holds out a hand with the vial. This is for you. You take the stabilizer, the cold glass, and smooth in your palm. Thank you. No, thank me. She gazed out at the greenway through the glass. Those club head caps made it for you. Or at least who, or whatever they made those club heads. Okay, so I can get stabilizer for free if I just give her 3 club heads. She starts to clear her bench. It was right there, contained in their tissue. I only had to extract it. I imagined you understand how incredible that is. I learned through that, from that sleeper, to know that your body, your frame runs on some exotic technology that has a time limit built in. Somehow the Greenway knows that too. It understands your physiology much better than I ever could. It knows how to treat you. Just like the miraculous antidote that sprung from the mold, so too has this sprung from your presence here. The Greenway is speaking to you, is welcoming you. She looks up. I know it sounds crazy, but I know it to be true. Here's the evidence. And what I also know is it no longer speaking to me. Even after decades here, I have never seen this kind of response, not since the antidote so many cycles ago. She smiles. So I'm going to make you a deal. You bring me as many club's heads as you like, I'll extract the stabilizer and give it to you freely. But you have to tell me what the Greenway says. You have to speak with it, to dig into it, to find what being is at the center of it. I've traveled as far as I can. I need you to do the rest. Can you do that? Yeah. Rico sighs with relief and deflates into her chair. Thank you. I'm sorry for the other sleeper. I am. I'm sorry I couldn't have done more. But I'm so glad I met you. She smiles. You're welcome here at any time. Rico falls silent. She looks smaller now, more fragile, and you realize how old she must be to have seen the collapse firsthand. You idle a little in the lab in case she asks for anything else, but she remains silent. So you drift back into the tunnel with thoughts of that other sleeper and where they ended up, weighing on your mind. Cool. Oh, it only takes 2 club heads. Alright, I think that's a place to sleep. White. New thing at the aviator. Oh, Rico's grow beds. I can plant the seed here. And now I wait. Damn, I have to wait fucking whole ass 8 days? Damn, bruh. Okay, so, well, in this meantime, I just do nothing but work for, the one guy up the way. Or her, whatever. I don't care. The job, yeah, there's the job. Ember's Wake. I got 3 days to finish it. Or am I only allowed to do 3 things? There's sealing the leaks +2, and there's sealing the leaks, +4. Yeah, I got 3 days to do it. Okay. Okay, so this will be +4, so it's half of it. Then okay, there's the other half. Oh, no, I was only allowed to do that one once. Okay, so I gotta do this twice then. So I gotta hope this does well. Positive? It's only 1. Of course it is. Fuck me. Okay, so that's the next cycle. I'll finish this. Yeah, there's only one. Yeah, I guess I'll shove it into, I don't know. I think I might have ruined like maxing shit out when I accidentally didn't get the thing done. I don't know. But nothing really needs to be maxed out. It's fine the way it is. Let's feed Kitty. Okay, then we'll inject the stabilizer. That keeps me at max dice. I can stabilize myself with those scraps for a whole ass 7 cycles. Cool. Okay, so leave here. I do not have enough to eat, but I will. Okay, for now, let's do here. And then we'll finish this up with bam. Guaranteed at least neutral and doop. So that's done. As you both wait in the airlock for it to cycle back to the bay, Bliss thumps you on the arm. Nicely done, Sleeper. We cleared that contract, no problem, she stretches. Once we are back in the bay, we can check if the payment has come through and divide it up. She stretches, feels good. The airlock clunks and the lights flicker, and a moment later you are back in the bay where Moritz is at the racks trying to figure out where the mess of tools Bliss left in her wake should be hung. Hey, Moritz. Moritz looks over his shoulder. Sleeper. He spins a wrench in his hand. Look like clean work out there. He nods respectfully. You look over at Bliss, who is already gliding over to the management console. She twirls a little as she crosses the cavernous bay. No one you've ever met moves as well in ZOG as she does. It's like she was born into it. Shit, Bliss slams a fist onto the console. Shit, what's... No payment, huh? I can't even. Bliss closes her eyes. Come here. Bliss calls you over. Look at this. Just look. She spins the terminal around and you see the details of the bay's account. You see an entry for the Ember's Wake, a repair fee paid in full the moment you finished up the job. But then directly after, the whole amount was transferred back into an unknown account. What the hell? Yeah, that's some bullshit. This is the work of my ex. Of course, you have some toxic ass stealing your cash. She punches the terminal. He must have coded a back door into the machine before he left. She rubs her forehead. There's no way we can... She pauses thinking, Moritz, throw me that wrench. It's the fuck... I swear, if her ex is Fang, I'm gonna fucking lose it. You gonna fix it? Bliss smiles, something like that. Yeah, she gonna go beat his ass. Bliss brings the wrench down on the terminal hard. You flinch backwards as a hail of computer parts spills up into the bay in a glittering arc. Fragments of screen, memory, sections of the casing. When Bliss is done, she clips the wrench to her tool belt. Try backdooring your way into that, you shit. Moritz drifts out from his hiding place amongst the racks. Bliss, he says tentatively, you want me to? He looks at the arc of fragments drifting around the bay nervously. Bliss shakes her head. No, she sighs. I've got it. You can go get me a new terminal, cheapest you can find. Cobble one together from pieces of the ore exchange if you have to. Can I help? Bliss glides over to a panel by the wall. Don't worry, one of the first things I had installed when we spec'd out this place was a cleaning sweep. She flicks over a plastic cover on a huge red button. Watch yourself. She hammers the button and a row of laser emitters unfold from the bay wall. They start crawling their way across the work area, frying the debris as they do in pulses of burning light. Bliss smiles. Is that or just a space the whole bay every few cycles? What now? Bliss sighs. We keep at it. The clean sweep buzzes and crackles as it works its way across the bay. That count wasn't everything. I'm not that stupid. Once Moritz gets back, I'll secure it and flush everything else. She flicks a nearby piece of debris into the path of the sweep. Clean break. Then we take another contract. That's it. She shoves off the sweep as it reaches the near end of the bay. You don't want your cryo back? Oh, I want it, but it's gone. He could have transferred it anywhere. She looks out across the hub. And even if I knew where he was, the last thing I want is to ever see him again. She rubs her forehead. I'm sorry, Sleeper. I know you worked hard this time. But next time be the same. That's okay. She smiles to you in a few cycles. Marge will let you know. She winks and kicks off into the bay to finish cleanup. Okay, so 4 cycles. Okay, so she's at 4 cycles. What was the other cycles I needed to wait? Okay, so next cycle is Rabia. Okay, so I need to eat something. I don't got the cash, but I can make the cash real quick. Vantayan. Oh, I can also just eat like this. Bam. Cool. The rest I want to... Yeah, I guess just put it on to work. Negative outcome, my fucking ass. No way it does it again. There we go. Reroll. Bam. Perfect. Perfect. I don't know. Oh yeah, I should have done it here. I wouldn't have had a negative. Okay, there we go. Now we just... Yeah, up here. Prepared unit. Let's use a single piece of scrap. Got a good amount of cash, I'll feed the cat. And end cycle. Okay, okay, now it's Rabia. As you enter Rabia's office, you hear voices. Is that Sabine? You push open the door. Sleeper, what good timing. Rabia calls out as you enter. I want to introduce you to someone. The man is standing at the center of the room, speaking quietly with Rabia. He turns as you come in. Meet Yannick. Sleeper, he nods. Been hearing good things from Rabbi. He smiles. An easy smile. Good to meet you. Likewise, likewise. He waves a ringed hand. Now, Rabbi, where were we? Actually, Rabia places a hand on your shoulder. Sleeper was what I wanted to talk to you about. She doesn't spare you a look. What's going on? Well, okay then. Yannick tucks his hand into his pockets. Go on. I'd like to recommend them to your ward. A tiny pause. They have shown themselves to be a capable ally here on the spoke side, but we have more than enough to run our territories. I hear the main block is proving more difficult. Yannick leans forward slowly. It's a mess, Rabbi. He weights his tinted glasses, shimmering despite the lack of light in the unit. I can use them, he suddenly decides. Rabbi smiles. Good to hear. I can immediately. Yannick cuts her off with a raised hand. 1 second, he steps one surprisingly light step close to you. You eager to work? Sleeper? Yeah. Yannick nods his head as if listening to music. Okay then, you suddenly are unsure if he is talking to you. That concludes it. Yannick pronounces. Sleeper can work in the yard anytime they like. You shoot Rabbi a confused look. Rabbi finally glances at you for a moment, but it is so fast you almost miss it. Good. I know you'll be happy with their work, Yan. Yannick reaches out and squeezes his shoulder. Sure, Rabbi. He says, now please, he says, turn to face you. Let us old friends go back to it. He guides Rabbi away, leaving you standing alone. You look to Rabbi, but she is deep in conversation, and so, stunned and confused, you leave. Okay. The seed is growing. Gain Yannick's trust, I guess. Then there's the guys at the end, and help Bliss competes. Okay, cool. Okay, and then the ward, alright, I guess. Since it's engaged, I have +2. I can do all this. Let's reroll. Perfect. That's bam. And then this is the same thing. And that finishes it. Again, Yannick's trust. You almost laughed when you see it. The same small recorder stuck to a different wall this time. Written across the fluorescent tape is this familiar word, sleeper. You grab it quickly. Rabaya says, sorry. Sabine's voice sparks up once again. She said she didn't have time to brief you before setting you up with the old man. I'm sure you got the play-by-play now. Earn his trust. Work the block. Then we need you to get into his office. A pause. It's discreet, but obviously you are the only one of us he doesn't already know. Out of the way, we need to locate the link to Essenorp. You hear a shout in the background of the recording. Rabaya says, be careful. Sabine continues. The data suggests there's some relay processing the implant data and sending it to Essenorp, but we can't lock down its position. I just know it. Sabine. Does she know Mr. Bean? Sabine. Either he is moving it, or it's moving itself, or it's rerouting through other relays. We can't understand it. Maybe you can find some details on it in his office. Once he trusts you, you should be able to get close enough to get in the office. You only get one shot. The recording creaks and whines. That's the final piece of the puzzle to end this. A pause. Good luck, sleeper. I'm sorry too. Be safe. The recording clicks off, leaving you in silence. You pocket the recorder just in case and walk away. Looks like it's up to you. Okay, and then what do I need to do here? Find the relay. It's located no matter what. Let's hope it's positive. Neutral. Okay, I found the relay. She finally pries the countermeasure from the drawer. Yannick enters the room. I won't touch that, he ambles in as if he just found the open door by chance. Bad things. I was looking for your medicine. Yannick laughs. He picks up a pill bottle from the desk. Not looking hard, Yannick sits at the desk. Easy there. He suddenly jerks his head up and nods rapidly. That's right. What's wrong with you? He looks down at you, those sunglasses shimmering like wind across water. Nothing wrong here. Yannick grins a wide and empty grin. Who are you on an errand for? He produces a squat black object from his pocket and thumbs a button on the side. The end of it sparks up. Yes, he pauses. That's not a problem. Myself? Yannick jerks his head to one side. Try again. He leans towards you now, black box sparking, reflected in those shimmering glasses, a grin on his face. He barely reacts to the object that slams into the side of his head. You don't see what it is, some metal box or ornament perhaps, but you see the blood welling up from the cut it made when it glanced past. Yannick is still, and then he twists around. And he really twists. His whole body spins around a single point, his muscles shifting in some strange sequence, his head staying dead level in space while his body moves around it. The result is sickening. Step back, sleeper. Rabaya is standing in the doorway, clearing the source of the thrown object. She readies her baton. Rabbi, says Yannick, with an odd croak to his voice. Then he leaps at her. Yannick moves unlike anyone you've ever seen, disconnected, unpredictable, thin top muscles and angular bones. His ornate clothes whirl around him, shadowing his attacking strikes. Come on, they should have at least made... I know everyone just has like the same look. Actually, no, Moritz, I saw like 2 different looks. Like, why could they not have like drawn this out? How weird he looks is what they're describing. That would have been interesting to see. Rabbi staggers back, swinging, hitting air, hitting cloth, but not making contact. Yannick's inhuman movements throw her off, putting her on the back foot. She shouts at you, the relay. You grab for the drawer, ripping it open, expecting to see a chunk of tech inside, but all you see is a handful of wires and an empty implant cradle. It isn't here. Rabaya is desperately wrestling with Yannick, but she manages to throw him into the floor, where he lies still. Nothing? She shouts back. No relay, just a cradle. Rabaya goes to respond, but a cracking noise makes you both look at the toppled Yannick. You both watch in horror as he stands, one leg at a strange angle. The blood runs down his face, but he doesn't react. A crack has appeared in his glasses. Suddenly hits you, the cradle, the relay. You stare at the implant on the side of Yannick's head, the shimmering glasses. He is the relay. It's him, he's the relay. As you shout, Yannick pushes forward once again, limping, broken, but dangerous. Rabaya hears you and swings her baton up away from his shifting body towards the pale box on the side of his head. There is a crackle, the smell of something burning, and Yannick drops to the floor like a puppet with cut strings. Rabaya doubles over, catching her breath. What the hell? Rabaya speaks between heavy breaths. I don't know. There's no way. That was the old Yannick. She stretches, wincing at her injuries. Was he a sleeper? She gives you a grave look. I have no idea. Rabaya sheaves her baton, but not now. We have to go before the rest of Yadigan finds out Yannick has been murdered. She shakes her head. Did we just start a war? She grabs you by the arm. We need to go now, and you both turn away into the corridor as rapid footsteps start echoing through the low end, brought by the commotion. You and Rabaya exchange looks. It is done, but at what cost? Alright. Rabaya's office. Gotta wait 4 days. Okay. And then how long was it for the seed I planted? Oh, it's... Damn, yeah, that's right. It'd take another 6 days, damn. 4 days for that, 6 days for that. And... what was this gonna take? Fuck it, 3 more days? Okay, I'll get the mushrooms and start the other mission at the end of the way. That's... because this is obviously late game, I barely have anything left to do. I'll start the added on story. I've never seen a more beautiful dice roll. Oh my good lordy lord. I'm about to bust. I don't... that's... like, I swear that, like, that's the ending of the game. That's why I'm avoiding that. But since I'm here, I can come here. Get roll caps. Well, it doesn't matter. Get the caps. That's 1 cap. And 2 caps. Alright. I believe there's only 2 caps needed. Yep. Alright. Completing the supply gear rolls. Action will begin the episode, but beware that is intended for late game play. There we go. You came, Peak smiles as you walk into the Climbing Briar's cargo hold behind the gloomy Esh. They brought mushrooms. Esh tosses the mushroom caps onto a crate, raising her eyebrows at Peak. Peak gives her a look. Thank you, Sleeper. They pick one up and sniff it. Are these edible? Yeah. Peak turns the cap over in their fingers before putting it down. We're not so used to fresh produce. As she is securing crates as she speaks and doesn't look up, Hawthorne doesn't have much in the way of farming. They are an acquired taste. I'm sure the refugees will acquire it. Esh wipes off her hands on a rag. Most of them are from Ember's moons, so they are used to eating green and growing things, not like us XPR roughnecks. Stay silent. Esh leans back against the crate she was securing. We're going to need more than a few mushrooms if we want to help those refugees, though. What do they need? Food, water, components, a whole lot of things. Esh stands and walks over to the mushroom you brought, placing them into a small container with care. The problem isn't just getting supplies, it's getting them through to the ships. Can't you just fly around and get the Briar Seeds for breaching quarantine? No thanks, she laughs. We were lucky we got here before the cordon was set up. That's the only reason we are on this side. Why is there quarantine? Peak jumps in. The eye has a closed loop life support system. Just like any orbital installation, any unfamiliar illness or insignificantly increased strain on life support could cause a cascading collapse in its systems. Esh scoffs. Are we making excuses for these bureaucrats now? Peak turns, we are being realistic, Esh. But these people aren't an increased strain. They are living people. Esh stares at you. Even calling them refugees is just a way of turning a lot of scared, desperate people into a single monolithic group. Esh slides the container full of mushrooms into one of the cargo holds racks. Look, as much as I'd like to chat, we've still got a lot of space to fill in this hold, so if you are going to help... I think Esh is trying to say we need your help and quickly, Peak says. Glancing at her, the refugees behind the cordon, they won't be able to hold out indefinitely. We need to get supplies to them in the next 12 cycles or each step forward, or Havenage... Oh no, Esh steps forward, or Havenage will have to bear the responsibility for whatever happens. What can I do? There's 3 things we still need to secure. Water, food, and scrap. Components for ship repairs. Esh gestures to the storage containers hold around the hold. Water we can find a way to source, or my preference, just siphon off the underground reservoirs in the Greenway. Peak raises their eyebrows. Esh. She ignores them. For food, things could be tricky. Those mushrooms are delicious, I'm sure, but no way we can get enough to feed the flotilla. However, I saw an algae stack on the way over. If we can get access... No more stealing, Esh. Peak sighs. I didn't say steal. She stares at them indignantly. If we can get access, we can work the stack, harvest some algae for the flotilla. Those stacks churn out vast quantities in short timescales. And the repair components? Peak asks tentatively. Esh smiles. Just look around you, Peak. This whole place is made of scrap. She shoots you a glance. I'm sure the Sleeper has their sources. They can bring them right here. We get everything before time runs out. Perfect. We get most of it, also good. Either way, in 12 cycles, I'm going to take what we have and go. But how will you get through? Esh shoulders the container. I thought I'd leave that up to you, Peak. They flinch. Are you serious, Esh? I know we said we would help the flotilla, but at what point? They stop, take a breath. Take this seriously, Esh. I don't know the first thing about breaching a quarantine cordon. Maybe not. Esh looks at you, but they might. They slipped out from an SLR facility, didn't they? Plus, they've been here longer than us. You are always trying to get me to find help. Well, here it is. She gestures at you. Help. Pete glances between the two of you. I swear to... They sigh. I need to think this one through. Meet me at the cordon in a couple of cycles, Sleeper. Maybe we can figure something out. Meanwhile, Esh meets your eye. You can help me acquire the supplies discreetly. She smiles. We have to keep this quiet, keep Havenage out of the loop. Once they get suspicious, this is over for all of us. This is all suddenly seems a little too real, too dangerous. You've only just found your feet on the eye. This is not a time for causing trouble. Come find us. We'll be out there trying to pull this all together. Esh goes to the back of the hold, start packing another container. Peak, come help me. Peak glances back at her. Sleeper, look, we didn't choose this either. They lower their voice. Help us finish this. We've set up a base camp on the Broken Spoke. You are welcome to rest there in any of the cots while we work on this. They smile. We are in this together. Peak, Esh shouts, and they walk back into the hold to help with the container. As you leave the climbing briar, you look out as the broken edge of the eyes ring. Your Havenage condone blinks with tiny red lights. What are you getting yourself into? Okay, so I got 12 days to get what? A scrap? Oh no, this is a place for me to sleep. Okay. So I need 8 scrap. Oh damn, I'm at 6. I need 2 scrap. Okay, so Briar's hold 3 times Peak's plan. Okay. Flotilla aid. Get a food, scrap, and water. Okay, here's the things. Okay. Bam. Bam. And bam. Okay. There we go. That's taken care of, right? No, I need to fucking... Holy shit. They're not lying when it's late game. They talk about late game. I need a lot of dice to do a lot of this shit. Holy crap. They need the 8 things, right? Flotilla, the flotilla needs our components for repairs. There's a lot of ships, which means a lot of scrap components. I'm almost there on the scrap. If the sellers are back again, I can possibly buy some more. Okay, so this is water. I need to do a whole... Okay. Havenge alert. Hacking sensors will alert them. Siphoning water won't. Or is it after 4 times they get alerted, but hitting a positive on hacking the sensors will get them down. I don't know. Okay. Let's go across the way. For the scrap. In 3 days he'll be here. I can buy scrap off him. Okay. And there's... The only other thing to work on is up here, and that's 2 days. This is the next day this finishes for the seed. No, seed still has many days. Okay. Alright, so repaired unit. Yeah, I can afford to use one, yeah. Okay, end cycle. That'll keep me at 5 dice for a day, which will help. Oh, big help. Okay. So for the food, algae growth, it's 1 of 3 done. This does double what Intuit does. Okay. Oh, I can only harvest algae once. So I need to accelerate the growth, right? Or no? Yeah, accelerate the growth. Let's put a 5 in there. Oh, so I gotta wait 2 more days for... Oh. It's not kidding when it says accelerate the growth. Okay. Siphon water, 6. Only 1. Okay. Let's do that. Yeah, it's at 2. Then we go to food. Then to accelerate the growth, we do it like that. Okay. What's this? Oh, yeah. I saw it, I thought it was like a notification. No, it's not. Okay, so end cycle. Okay. Sleeper, Morris is waiting for you on your way out. How have you been? Surviving? Morris nods. That's the struggle. He glances around. He runs his hand through his hair. I've been meaning to ask you, Sleeper, what's it like? He pauses, suddenly unsure. I mean, you know, what does it feel like to be a sleeper? Yeah, he shrugs, if you don't mind. It's strange. Yeah, I know, I can understand it. You know, with your framing well, everything else. I'm ready to say, I have a lot of sympathy for it, like having to find a place, having to survive, having no future. He looks down. A lot of people around here understand that. Moritz looks away and you notice him for the first time, not just as Bliss's assistant, but as someone with their own worries, their own struggle, their own life. You feel bad for not noticing earlier. Moritz looks back at you. Anyway, got a message for you. Bliss sent me down. We've scored another contract and she needs your help. That's the message. He pauses. That's on her. Yeah, look, I know last time the payment didn't come through, but you did great work. Bliss knows that. It's no problem. Okay then, he pauses again. She's doing her best, you know. I know. He nods, see you up there. Moritz turns and strides off, leaving you in the corridor. Time to help Bliss, and maybe this time you think to yourself it'll work out. As you leave, you find a note pinned on the outside of the door. You read, Sleeper, there's something you need to see. Meet me at the cordon as soon as you can. Just keep heading around the ring until you hit the flotilla. I'll be waiting, Peak. You pocket the note and glance around the corridor. Looks like you are doing this. Time to make a plan. Where am I going? Peak wants me where? At the cordon? This is the algae stack, which... Give me that. The cordon. What the hell was the cordon? It's not the ship, right? It's the climbing briar. Oh, here's Peak. Sleeper, Peak catches your attention from the shadowy corner they were leaning against. Any trouble getting up here? None. Good to hear. Come take a look at this. They beckon you over the nearby window, which looks across the ruined ring to the blinking red lights of the Havenage cordon. The cordon's temporary structure is a net of metal structures meant to detect and dissuade any ships from entering or leaving the flotilla. Jet out into the black, all around the tugs split, securing them in place and tending to the red blinking drones. Denmark quarantine is an impressive and worrying sight. What do you think? Peek interrupts your thoughts. How would you get through? Use one of the tugs, create a distraction. It's not a bad idea, but what kind of distraction is big enough to get everyone to look away from a ship as big as the Briar? Peek squints at the red lights. Surely they'd spot and seize the ship. Peek turns away from the window and rubs their forehead. Esh has really wrapped us up in something here, hasn't she? The question is spoken under their breath, and they don't seem to expect an answer. The silence grows. Maybe we try all three? Peek laughs. I like it. At least we should prepare as many ways as we can. The way I see it, there are three parts to making it through that cordon. They just out the window with the strange structure: deception, distraction, and speed. We'll need all of them for a clean passage through. Deception means tricking the cordon security into thinking that we are meant to be there. Maybe a tug escort would work. Anything that makes the Briar look official. Distraction, meanwhile, will be all about diverting attention so that no one looks too hard at what the Briar is doing. If we can create a gap in the cordon scanning and deterrent systems, that should keep them busy. Finally, speed will mean making sure the Briar is ready to roll. Perhaps we can do a little work on the ship to get it ready, as surely wouldn't mind. How's it? Leans back to the window. How's that sound? Good? Good to hear. Peek grins. Peek looks down at their slate. 10 cycles left. They glance out of the window at the cordon nervously. 10 cycles to gather the supplies to prep the plan. It's tight. Very tight. Peek looks at you. If this goes wrong, Peek sighs. Just get out, okay? They squeeze your shoulder. I'll follow Esh anywhere, but you don't need to get dragged down with us. Okay. Good. Peek brightens a little. I don't need any more guilt than I already have. Let's get to it. Peek stretches. I'll tell Esh about the improvements to the Briar and the rest. Let's continue. Let's explore the cordon as best we can and look for openings. I have no idea what guardian angel sent you to a sleeper. Peek smiles, but I'm very glad they did. And now there's a fucking... Okay, so there's another thing I need to do within 12 days. Of course. Okay, since it's engaged, that makes this positive. Okay, that's another positive. I mean, I can definitely get it all done within the 12 cycles, especially if I try my best to keep my dice up, but it's still and a bit of an annoyance. Okay, then bam. Okay. Oh, it would have been better to shove them over here. Because even if they were only 5, it would have been guaranteed at least 1. Oh. Yeah, it would have been done. Okay, yeah, that's my mistake. I want to... Okay, I'm gonna put off, Bliss right now, I believe. Because, like, this ain't on a time limit yet, but it will be. So I'm gonna put Bliss on a back burner right now. And just focus, like, everything, all my dice towards this for now. I want to go buy a stimulant. That's not what it's called. It's... Oh, it's gone. The dock office is gone. Well, damn. So yeah, it's either repair myself, which... Okay, that's the next... That's... Okay, so that's next cycle. Or... off of the mushrooms. Which I need dice to do. Okay. Base. End cycle. Okay. Cool. Oh, 3 5s, that's lovely. I'm close to getting one of these done, right? The algae is... It needs 4 more, which would just be 2 of these. And done. Okay, so algae is finished. I don't need to worry about algae more. You're leaning against the metal crates you just loaded up with algae, packed and dried into bright green pucks. Ash hops onto one beside you, flexing her aching back. I hope they're refugees like algae. Ash squints at you as if you just interrupted her train of thought. It's a look you have become familiar with. It doesn't matter either way, this is what we've got. She sighs, rubbing the back of her neck. In these past cycles, working the algae stack with Ash, you've had little insight into her mind. She rarely seems happy to start a conversation, but is always eager to end one. Despite this, you feel like something has grown between you, something like silent trust, the kind that tends to seed itself in the fertile soil of hard but necessary work. It's something I've been meaning to ask. Raise her head cautiously, go on. Why help? Ash pauses, her protective instinct fighting with the trust you built. You can see her begin to shrug the question off, but then stops, rethinks, sighs. What you need to understand, Sleeper, is that Erlin's Eye wasn't the only place where the Solheim collapse happened. Sure, Hawthorne, where we grew up, was an XPR installation, but that didn't screen it from Solheim going under. Actually, Solheim was the only reason XPR were ever here. She pauses, hesitant to get into the whole story, but wanting to offer something. She flinches, correcting herself. They are a service corp, you understand. They set up outposts and surrogate systems like this to offer refueling, logistics, and maintenance services to bigger companies with extraction contracts. She gestures to the eye around her like Solheim. When Solheim went bust, XPR lost their client, and Hawthorne, we lost everything. We became an outpost tasked with just holding on. Keep the refueling platforms running, they said. Keep the outpost stable. Hold on to our claim. She rubs at her head, as if recalling all this was somehow physically painful. Do you know what it's like to spend your entire life in a place with no future? A place that exists only to hold a legal claim to a piece of territory, to shore up a breach of contract negotiations between two corporations? It's like living in a, she searches for the word her eyes jumping back and forth in the grave. She clenches her hands. So if you're looking for the answer to why questions, that's your answer. We peek and I know what it's like to be forgotten, to be locked out. She stares hard at the side of the stack, the algae whirling against the glass in beautiful patterns, and she doesn't look away. The silence extends and you realize the conversation is over as she seems angry, not at you, but with herself for even voicing such ideas. After a while, you stand and start to load the crates onto the powered cargo trolley that Ish will run back to the Briar. As you do, you try to catch her eye, but she avoids it, soothing herself instead with the comforting simplicity of physical work. Okay. And this one is going to take longer, right? Yeah, because there's only +1. Okay, so shove that in there. And that becomes a 3, which I'm not doing that when it's so dangerous. But I will come over here to the cordon where it's only risky and shove it in there. Don't hit that 1 and 4. Neutral. Okay. One more and this will be done. Before I end the cycle though, cross the rim. Oh, Rabia, I forgot about her. Damn. This is what I wanted to get to. Buy some scrap. Fuck. Buy some scrap. And 6, buy some scrap. And that's 7. Yes, sir. Okay, I need 1 more scrap. Where am I gonna get it? Go to Haven's office. I can sell that for profit. But I need 1 more scrap from somewhere. I guess doing engineering task would get me there closer, but still. The Arc Exchange, I believe. No, I can sell scrap. I should not have used the one I did. Arc Fabricator. Memphis Stall. I need some food. Okay, Damn. Oh yeah, that's where it gives me +24 for working. Mingy. I'm looking for scrap, but this is, none of it is scrap. What's this? Can I get scrap? I can get cash. I can buy a core, but no, I can't get scrap. Wait, I can salvage. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, salvage, and I got the waste, and I get the scrap done. And then put 1 into there, that's done, okay. So now I'll just, complete active, okay, so I gotta go do that first. Yeah, okay, so Rabia. Okay, even before you enter the office, you can hear the sound of Rabia working the heavy bag. She's hammering it, the chain creaking as it shakes with each hit. She's been like this since Sabine doesn't finish the sentence. They're sitting on a stool looking at the terminal in the corner, searching through the Essence ARP data you pulled all those cycles ago. How have you been? I'm well, Sleeper, happy to no longer be hunted. They smile. Yaligan has plenty to deal with, and without Yannick, I'm free. They glance nervously at Rabia. Rabia stops punching, and in silence you can hear her breathing hard. Sabine looks over at her. You sense something between them. You realize you haven't seen them together since they tried to kill each other in the same unit. A lot has changed since then. They hooked him up like a puppet. Rabia hits the bag, rigged that thing in his head so they could control him, push the old Yannick out. I don't know why they let him in, why he let them in. Rabia throws a few more punches, but it's a lesson. Don't let them in. Another flurry. Yaligan shouldn't deal with corporations, and we will never will again, she spits. Oh, no. Rabaya comes away from the bag. It's a war out there with Yannick murdered. They're all looking for the killer. There are claims of a coup in the organization. People are taking advantage. She rubs her head. No good will come out of this. Sabine interjects, not true. Come now. They turn to you. Now the connection has been broken. I've been looking at removing the trackers from the implants and Yaligan's enforcers. It's a significant job, but I think with time I can do the surgeries. Rabaya scoffs. Time? Yaligan will tear itself apart in the next 5 cycles. She thumps the bag again and walks away to the far side of the unit. Sabina watches her go, concerned she'll get there. They say to you, not looking away from Rabaya, it's impossible to deal with all this. Will Yaligan really collapse? I don't think so, no. Rabaya doesn't either. They look over at her, at least not when she's calm. What I understand now is that Yaligan can be something if we want it to be. Coming here from SNARP, from the core worlds, all I saw was a gang, and with Yannick keeping me on a tight leash, they shudder. Rabaya leaves, and I want that belief. Rabaya believes, and I want that belief. They look unsure. I also want to be done with SNARP, but I doubt they are done with me. They glance away, rubbing her shoulders. Are you in, Rabaya? Sabine fixes you with a look. Yes, Sleeper. Isn't that obvious? They smile. Oh. Threesome? I've been wanting to say, Sabine begins nervously, I'm sorry that I didn't tell you where I came from. I know I've apologized before, but I want to again. They pause properly. When I leaked the data on the Sleeper program, it was to try to help people like you. They gritted their teeth. But after all the cycles here, they pushed down, pushed around, trying to survive. All that got away from me. So when you turned up, they sigh. It shook me up. They run a hand through their hair, but I ended up here, so they look at Rabaya. Oh, of course. They reach into a pocket and take out a handful of vials. These are the last of the case. You can have them. Yes. They drop them into your hands. How many? After these last few, so 3. I don't know what we can do with the SNARP connection broken. They look down, but I know there are other ways, prepares other pharmaceuticals. I even heard that there's some labs out on the Greenway. Perhaps they can help. They meet your eye. I'm sorry I can't do more. Thank you for everything. They look away, their eyes bright with tears. Rabaya crosses back to both and sits beside Sabine. They look at each other and you can't help but smile at the idea of them together. What are you two plotting? Rabaya grins. Sabine laughs and the sound is a welcome one. You watch the two of them teasing each other and smile. Later when you leave, you take that handful of vials out of your pocket and look at them. You can still feel the core anger deep down inside, and you don't know if it'll ever leave. But SNARP doesn't own you anymore. They can't, because this place, these people own you. They are what makes you get up every cycle. They are what keeps you breathing. You put the vials away and walk through the low end. Your senses tuned to every sight, every smell, every sound, soaking it all in, living. Yep, 3 vials. Hell yeah. That's another upgrade point. I guess I'll just... Oh, I don't know. Because, like, there's still so many things to do. And just... Endure doesn't seem... Yeah, I should just... save it. But then again, there's only... like, 2 others. Things I'm working on right now. I don't know. I'll save it for now. Although, there's... 4. There's the Greenway, which is going to take a few more days. There's this that I'm working on. There's Bliss up there, and then there's same thing I'm working on, but I guess it's a couple of them. Oh, is that all for the Doctor and Rabaya? Cool. Okay. Yeah. So, next cycle. And I can use one of the stabilizers so I can get my die back. and cycle. Good dice, good dice. Good enough. Okay, first things first, I want to go to the waist, shove in a 5, and pull out scrap. That's now at 8 scrap. So now I come here, nope. No, I'll come up to Corden first. And then go here, I gamble. I knew it. All I do is win no matter what. Oh fuck, there's more. Oh. There really is more. Fuck, you know. Okay, so yeah, I really need like a lot of those 12 days, all dice going towards this. Okay. Let's come over here. Start action. Yeah, okay, I gave all 8 scrap. So scrap's done. Briar's Hold. Okay, so this would be the second thing out of the 3 things for Briar's Hold, and then there's the water, and then there's the Peak's plan. Go over with the pile of scrap components lying on the Briar. Look around, the bay is empty. Esh and Peak either elsewhere on the station or on the bridge a couple of levels up. You begin sorting through the pile, separating out useful components and boxing them by use. You don't recognize everything you find, but before long you get into the rhythm of sorting. As you do, your mind starts to drift, your attention being drawn into the dark corners of the bay. The Briar is in surprisingly good condition, considering that Hawthorne and XPR must have been operating it for decades by now. The marks of care are everywhere, from the delicate patch jobs polished to meld into the original finish, or the careful bound wiring between running through custom trunking. Esh loves this ship, that much is clear. Something catches your eye in one of the dark corners, a matte black stack of crates you hadn't spotted before. They are sleek and compact, tucked away behind some of the bigger, more worn containers. Investigate. You put the components away and go over to the sleek crates. You run your hands across the textured surface, but there's a little hint of what lies inside in the opaque metallic casing. Then you see a yellow symbol embossed on the far side of the crate, a universal sigil used by spacers, corporations, and manufacturers alike. It's one you have seen throughout your time as a sleeper. Its meaning all too familiar. Explosive contents. You hear a hiss and Esh comes up through the bay's lock. You barely register your presence, gnawing at you as she passes. Sleeper. She busies herself with some task at the back of the bay. I'll ask, yeah. Esh doesn't turn around from whatever she's busy with, just more supplies, Sleeper, like everything else here. You can't think of anything else to ask, but since the atmosphere has now somehow shifted, you quickly finish up the sorting and slip out, waving goodbye to her back as you do. Cool. So I have 1, 2, 6, okay, so I got 8 days left to finish this all up. Which, water, I could get probably close to the water being finished right now. I cannot. No, yeah, I can do it. I can get the water to where it's like done by tomorrow. Okay, cool. Because there's that, then there's this. And then if I do this, it's still a 1. I'm not using that there. That's too dangerous. Let's look up at these. Completely safe, but that's just to get rid of the suspicion. Tug escort. They take my money. Cordon operations. Interface. Engineer. Okay. Then what was this one? Intuit and engage. They're both. I think this gets us up to a 3. Don't be bad. Fuck me. Well, that's all for the day. End cycle. Okay, oh, that's beautiful. Okay, yeah, triple, 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 yes, yes, yes. Okay, so with that, I'll come up here. Okay, so that needs 6. This, I'm gonna end up in debt doing this. Because just twice is gonna be 24. I don't have the cash for that. And then there's up here, which, fuck it. Oh, I'm gonna have to lower suspicion. Because this got suspicion either way. Okay, no it doesn't. 2 and 3. Okay, slicing bread. It's only up suspicion if it's a bad play. Okay. Oh, perfect. 4. Random scrap item. Hell yeah. And 5. Okay. So I can finish this one tomorrow. Oh wait, the water one's not finished yet. It needed one more, didn't it? Oh shit. Yeah, there's the thing at the labs. No, water was there. No, the water needs 3 more. Damn, what was one away? I think I did it already. Starving. Needs to eat. I can go and eat for free right now if I go down here to my kitchen in the battalion and cook these caps. There we go. Oh, that's not caps, that's a matsusake. They're different. Ew. I need to do this before I can end the cycle. Because something in your hands when you enter the lab, it looks like a knotted twist of woody stems, a ring about the circumference of a human head consisting of a single stalk at one side and a branched, woven network at the other. As you approach, she holds it up, and in the lights of the lab, it looks like a crown. Riko finishes her thought. She smiles and shakes her head in disbelief. Is that what grew? It is. I came to the plant this morning, and this loop was all that was there. She points to a lump on the edge of the ring. The seed grew right back into itself, twisted up out of the soil. That being you encountered in the cloud, as you call it, was it wearing one of these? She eyes you suspiciously, still unsure if she is somehow embroiled in overlong prank. No. She sighs. I suppose that would be too easy. She smiles to herself, a root crown. She places the object on the bench and shuffles to her analysis terminal, her face lit by its amber light in the dim corner of the lab. Well, it isn't exactly a plant anyway, not from what I can tell. She gives you a serious look. No leaves, no chloroplast. Just a series of filaments encased in a cellulose walls. How did it grow? It seems the seed contained everything it needed, a self-contained entity, nothing less. She beckons you over, but that isn't the good part. Look at this. You see a cross-section scan of the crown, its layers of plant-like structure on full view until you reach the center. There, instead of xylem and phloem for transporting nutrients, something branched and woven glints. Are those wires? She laughs. I'm not sure whether to say yes or no here. These are not wires like those in an electrical system, no, but they are filaments of a conductive material. So yes? She leans closer to the screen, but you see those branches. They remind me of dendrites, of neurons. She rubs her eyes, which is frankly ridiculous. You look back at the crown on the table as Riko fusses over the scans, and you suddenly realize what it reminds you of. You remember signing the forms, the walk to the sleeper tanks, the cold metal floor. Then you remember the crown they fitted you with, the branching structure of wires and pads. No, not a crown. They call it an interface. So it's a wooden interface. The tool of your emulation, your transference from neurons to electrons, an interface that is your gift from Gardner. You turn back to Rico. Looks you puzzled. Something clicks in her mind, perhaps something she heard from the sleeper she had helped all those cycles ago. She starts talking partly to you, partly to herself. If the club heads were made for you, then this too could be made for you, for your frame. She shuffles over quickly to their interface, a word that has stuck to this strange branched object quickly in your mind. You're right, that entity is the entity I've been looking for. She shuffles quickly to the crown. They are the entity which is controlling the Greenway, which has been maintaining it, supporting it, and has been guiding it for all these decades. She stops to catch her breath. They want to talk with you. Rico leads you to see, I will be here, sleeper. If something happens, if you wish me to move the crown and interface, just squeeze. She grips your hand tightly. You meet her eyes, clouded with age, but bright with the thrill of new discoveries. Then she places the interface on your head and everything blinks out. Back into the river, back into the dark flow, but something is different now. You are no longer pushed, no longer blocked, and buffeted by the storm. Instead, it flows around you. You move and it parts, letting you pass. Something else resists, but it gives easily enough. You look back and see your body. You have left it behind. Somewhere Rico's voice is talking to you, asking you questions. Is it excited, eager, desperate to know what lies on the other side, what the entity has to say to you? You realize how long she has waited for this moment, for the moment of meeting between the inhabitants of the Greenway and its protector, yet she is still on the outside. You shake off the sadness, you will be her eyes. Then you see the figure, Gardner, out in the storm, planting. It takes less than a moment to reach them. You have never felt so free. This is how Navigator must have felt. Released from their prison, this, you think, is what it feels like to be in the place you were built to inhabit. Gardner does not turn at your approach. They go on planting, but their voice whispers in the water like a sharply rising current. You grew the gift. Their speech hisses around you. Good, I am glad. I wanted to meet you. Then we are the same, both eager shoots seeking one another. How does it feel to be free of your seed? They stoop to the plant again. Good. That is good. They press the seed into the loamy depths. Okay, my seed is my body, and I'm free now in here. This is freedom. There are some disagreement. Continues Gardner, as if you were picking up on a long-held conversation with the others. They felt you were a danger, but they are always cautious, especially the fungi. They like old loam, known knowns, wide and stable networks. The fungi were cautious? Mostly yes, although there are many among their number who favor short growth cycles, thick nutrient veins, and sudden shifts. He gestures out into the storm, and though you cannot see them, you feel presences all around, sensing the audience with great interest. After all, they understood that it was I who made them their crowns, and without them, they would not have joined the chorus. So they see that it is only fair that you get your chance to join too. Join? Yes, become part of this. Gardner stoops again. We are millions and we grow. I hope you understand I am unused to speaking to your kind. It has been many cycles since my last conversation. I think it was Chief Executive Trellick himself. I do not want to be a part of this. I do not want to join this. If this is like an ending, I do not want this one. I do not want to become one of the millions. You look around and you see it. Every growing thing, every non-human being in the Greenway is here. They are networked, connected, branched, and linked by this strange being, this artifact of the old station. Gardner over here like, one of us, one of us. The impossible dream of a senile farm administration AI, a living network. You could dissolve here, you realize, free of that decaying body. You wouldn't need to be a person. Why would you among all these other minds? You turn away from Gardner for a moment and look back at your body. A tiny hairline thread connects it to you. You hear Rico's voice again, still asking, still checking in. Are you okay, sleeper? What are they saying, sleeper? Are you still there, sleeper? Something in you sighs, a long sigh, a sigh that speaks of an exhaustion beyond tiredness, an exhaustion rooted deep inside you. It stems from the effort of answering questions, of answering problems, or getting up and breathing each cycle. Something else resists the sigh, a yearning, a sense of distance, a desire to squeeze that hand that holds you for its warmth, its blood, its complexity, to make a gesture that says, I'm still here, I'm still alive, I'm with you. The two ideas spin within you, making you nauseous. If you break that thread, you will be free, free to dissolve here, to grow strange and beautiful among a million others. If you follow it, if you squeeze Rico's hand, you will wake up back in that dying body with all the pain and warmth it entails. I'm following the thread back. I'm not dying. I'm not going out the body. Then I'd never be able to eat the Emphas food again. Your eyes track the thread back across the whirling dark back to your body. This choice, you realize, will not be presented again. Follow it. You don't look back at Gardner. You don't dare risk it. Instead, you follow the thread delicately, carefully, like a diver following a lifeline back to the surface. The river whirls around you, but it doesn't pull. It isn't jealous, neither does it understand. It is, after all, just a river. It isn't a person, a flesh and blood person, with wants, with desires, with the capacity for love and hate. Exactly. It doesn't understand you, and you don't understand it. So you don't focus on it. You don't think about it. On what feels like such a long journey back through the dark, you set your mind on eyes, instead on hands. Things you can focus on and hold on to. And then after an age of crossing, you are there, settling back into the chair, into a body in a chair, and the overwhelming sensations that come with being a living thing with a rich and detailed sensorium. For a moment, you will feel like you have made a terrible mistake. Who would choose this weight, this anxiety, this deep well at the center of existence? I want to finish the other stories before I finish the game. But then you feel it, Rico's hand gripped hard around yours, trembling a little, sweating a little. Rico's hand with its brittle bones and crumpled skin, Rico's hand. And in that moment you understand why you made this choice. And then you squeeze Rico's hand and you wake up. Warmth and light. Either way was an end to the game. Oh, I didn't fucking know that. The jump over the age game. Okay. That doesn't feel like it would have been an ending though. Like the other one, yeah, but going back feels like you're going away from the ending. Some bullshit. I am back. One upgrade point. Oh, so that is an ending. Because I even got like a gold trophy for it. But I can still continue afterwards. Sleepo, Rico's voice comes wavering through the dark. Are you still with me? You sit up, the lab, a bright green glare that fades as you gather yourself. I'm here. Rico smiles. Good. She squeezes your hand. I thought you'd left me for a moment. Wait, what? She pauses. Who? She smiles. Tell me about it. Tell me everything. Tell her the truth. Tell Rico everything. You tell her about the Gardner, that strange farm administrator, their AI, and that has grown to be so much more. About the chorus, that impossible configuration of networked plants, and finally about the choice the Gardner offered you. She listens attentively, but her responses are hard to read, and you wonder if she might have made a different decision had she been in your place. Probably, especially since she's old and dying. Thank you, Sleeper, for telling me. I know it isn't easy to say such things. People so often do not wish to hear strange truths. She looks away. But it's different from me, a clinker. I just need to keep maintenance, and I live forever. Thank you for returning to me, though I know you had your own reasons. She squeezes your hand reassuringly. Something passes between you then, a kind of shared sadness for the impossible choice, the choice to escape your body, or to stay and suffer it. The smile is warm and generous, and whatever the wisdom of your choice, you are glad to feel welcome in this moment, in this place. Then suddenly she stands and walks a little away as if trying to escape an unpleasant thought. You worry that she knows all too well what it takes to make a choice like you did. Rico sighs. So, Sleeper, do you plan to stay in the commune with us? I have other things to do. Rico raises an eyebrow. Well, be careful at least. We will miss you here. She pauses. I will miss you. Rico crosses back over to you and takes one of your hands in both of hers. Just make sure to think of us out here. Hypha needs a new blood if it wants to survive, and she squeezes. You are a good friend. Look after yourself, Rico. And you, Sleeper. But don't let me keep you. Rico waves you away and limps back to her terminal. As she does, you notice the crown in her hand, and she places it on the bench with great care. You can't help but feel a little curious about what she intends to do with it. Then you are out, breathing in the air in the greenway, fresh as a spring morning. The dappled light makes a patchwork of the greening landscape, and you walk into it, sensing the movements of the gardener's chorus all around. And you are glad to be here in this strange and beautiful place a little longer. Okay. Alright. So that happened. Cool. End cycle. I'm waiting for the rinse cycle. Yeah, let's repair. That'll keep me max dice for a second longer. Okay. And, ooh. Okay, decent dice, decent dice. There was one thing that was like one away. I believe it was this. Yes, sir. Okay, bam. Briar upgrade complete. Okay, Pete grins as you pile the ion thruster sets onto the motorized trolley in the derelict loading bay. I borrowed this from Esh. I barely know how it works. They seem giddy at the idea of stealing the ship parts from Havenage. I thought you worked for XPR. Isn't it just a trolley? Pete laughs. I guess so. I just find physical technology a bit intimidating. They help you heave the thruster into position. My specialty was computer systems. I mostly worked on keeping the protocols that ran the refueling platforms from totally decaying due to the lack of use. There's a lot of platforms in orbit of the moon Hawthorne is on and Cinder itself. Ash and I ended up having to head out to them regularly to work on them. Sounds like hard work. Are you kidding? Peak smiles. That was the best job at Hawthorne. You get assigned a ship, you get to leave the colony for a bit. So much better than outpost maintenance and canteen work. The only reason we got assigned it was that Esh's mother is the administrator of Hawthorne, and Esh managed to get my name on the list too. Peak looks for the trolley's ignition. Esh is always saving me. They find the switch and hit it, and the trolley starts whining. Peak looks at the thrusters. Esh will install these. The Briar is her baby, really. Peak looks towards the 8-bay exit. Truth be told, I was surprised she could bring herself to take it from her mother. Losing a ship, that has to have hurt the colony. What is her mother like? Tough. You'd have to keep control of a service. This is post with no services to provide. Peak looks away. It's a tough place overall, Hawthorne. And Ish's mom. She likes it that way. Peak shovels the trolley out of the bay into the corridor. Don't manage without the Briar. No choice. Peak smiles, and I have to admit, I'd love to have seen her face when she saw we had gone. Peak pauses. Don't tell Ash that. Then they walk on quietly, lost in their memories of Hawthorne. Okay, I think I can manage the rest. Peak brushes their hair out of the face. You've done more than enough this cycle. Peak looks over the thrusters. Once they are fitted, the Briar will handle better than ever. You might even get a thank you from Ash. Peak laughs. They head off to the corridor, the trolley whining in high-pitched whine. See you soon. I'm definitely telling Ash if I get the chance. Yeah. Okay, after that, then let's finish the water. Either way, it's at 1. No, not that one. Here, siphon. Bam. Reroll. Beautiful. Okay, so the water... I'm going to stop it right there. The water's 1 away. That's easy. And then there's crew canteen and the Camden operations. I'll put these in towards the operations here. Bam, bam. So that's 4 dice right there. And it's plus 6 dice, so that's 10. So it's at least 2 days of dice. Then there's 1 over there. Yeah, so 3 days of dice, and I should be able to get this done. Okay. Use the scrap. Bam. And end cycle. Okay. Drop out of that. Okay, it was the operating operations. Yeah. 5 to a 6. Okay, and then there's a 5 to a 6. And for the water, I trust that oh yeah, because a 5, it's not even a chance at a negative outcome. It's guaranteed. So water's done. Cool. Tucked into a service corridor deep below the reservoir, Ash is double checking the seals on the water tanks lowered onto the motorized trolley. Though you are far enough away from any thoroughfares not to worry about being overheard, you both still speak in hushed tones. All good? Ash nods silently and hits the ignition on the trolley to start it moving. You take the other side of the trolley and walk it up to the wide service corridor with its flickering lights and Solheim detritus. You doubt it gets used by Havenage, at least that's the hope. You glance across at Ash, her face a mask of determination as she guides the trolley along. Maybe some conversation will make this journey go a little easier. How'd you meet Peak? Ash pauses, a little surprised by your question. She glances back down the tunnel, but in this deserted passage, she can hardly keep up the pretense of silence. We grew up together, she answers quickly and turns back to the trolley, but she can tell you are expecting her to add more. She seems to gather herself for an answer, not wanting to ignore you, but trying instead to get her answers straight in her head. Our outpost, Hawthorne, is not an easy place to grow up. The administrators keep a tight hold on everything. She rolls her eyes, even though they are trapped in the same decaying insulation as everyone else. Peak, she pauses. Peak found it harder than most. She pauses again, judging her words. I stepped in to help them out. Silence descends again, but you can feel the wheels turning in Esh's mind as the creaking wheels of the trolley take you along the corridor. Peak isn't the most practical of people. They used to be, well, they needed someone to teach them to look after themselves, stand up for themselves. That was me. She smiles. After that, I couldn't get rid of them. Ash stops talking, but you see her eyes have lit up, and you imagine she is recalling some moment of her or other from her and Peak's past. You both reach a wide bulkhead doorway, and you have to stop to shimmy the trolley over the edge. When you are done, Ash turns to you. I'm good from here. Head back. And with that, she is gone, moving off into the dark tunnel ahead. You watch her go and then turn around and walk the distance back to the staircase. You entered the tunnel, humming around you as you do. As you walk, you try to piece together Esh's past, but all you have are glimpses of a person she once was. She seems to prefer it that way. And bam, that's 3 points, which will help me finish this faster. So this is interface, which is almost done. Then we got engage and intuit, which are okay. Let's see these. Okay. So what I want to do is put that into there. That's done. 2, I can get to up to 4, which is there's a good chance. That's just suspicion. Okay, so intuit. Don't hit that 1 and 4. Don't be a negative. Neutral. That's good enough. I'm not going to lower the suspicion unless that thing hits a 3. Cross the rim. I'm definitely not putting it into endure. I feel like it has to be like getting +2 into an engineer interface. And since this seems like the last interface thing I'm doing, I'm gonna put in engineer since I'm working with the other one after this. I forgot her name. Since I'm working up there later as on work like that. Okay. But yeah.